Mmm, that looks good, and it's not even done yet. Now this is an easy one pan, cheesy zucchini and tomato bake. To start our prep, we're going to slice our zucchini into chunks. Anywhere in the ballpark of 3/4 of an inch or so is fine. Just call it a rustic
Oh,
cut, and no one will
would you
know the
look at
difference
that?
anyway.
That's beautiful, baby. I can eat
When
that just
that's
the way it is.
done, place them in a bowl and set aside for later. We're also going to need some onion for this. I already had half a sliced one in the fridge already, so guess what I'm going to use? We're also going to need some garlic, at least a couple of cloves. I find my garlic press needs to have at least 3 cloves put through it to get 2 cloves worth of pressed garlic out the other end. In a preheated stainless pan, got a little heavy handed on the oil there, but it'll be okay once we add the zucchini and everything to it. And we're going to put this entire thing in the oven later on. In goes the onion with some salt. We're going to toss that up and do the same thing with our bowl of zucchini chunks. This is going to bake, so it doesn't need to be cooked quite all the way through on the pan. Give it a quick toss to coat everything in oil and another sprinkle of salt. Watch my dramatic reveal as I practice, just in case we get a sponsor someday. I like Redmond's, I like the Celtic salt, but use whatever you got on hand. No part of this dish is complicated, it's just simple cooking with ingredients that we already happen to have in the cupboard. It's just about time we start seasoning in earnest now. Our zucchini's just starting to soften, but if we bit into it right now, it'd be harder in the middle. And I almost forgot. We dropped our garlic in there too. Don't forget that. It's going to be our kitchen perfume when it blooms after about 30 seconds. And if somebody doesn't like the way the kitchen starts to smell, it's because they're a vampire. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. I'm going to hit it with some black pepper, some onion and garlic powder, and some paprika, which is really going to start making this dish look nice as everything begins to take on a beautiful red color. Toss and stir to mix everything together. And honestly, I just really like playing with my food, so I'm going to take every chance I can to do that. Next, we add our tomatoes. I happen to have a can of Rotel diced tomatoes and green chilies, but a can of whatever you happen to have will work. Whether it's diced tomatoes or stewed tomatoes, it doesn't matter. Same rules for the tomato puree. Whatever you have will work, and if you don't have any, some tomato paste and a little bit of water will do the same thing. We're just building a chunky tomato sauce for our veggie friends to mingle with and get to know better. Let this simmer for just a minute. All of the moisture should be expressed from our vegetables, and this should be the wateriest point of the dish. It should only get thicker from here. Now, this was just a rest stop, and it's time to get back on our flavor train with a handful of Italian seasoning, some dried basil, and a little bit of dehydrated onion flakes, which will rehydrate using the liquid in our sauce and help starting to thicken it up as we start to wind this down. And now is a good time to preheat our oven to 425. Our opening shot might start looking a little familiar now, and it's tempting to just crack some eggs over the top and cover this up right on the stovetop. But that's a dish for another day. Today, we have a date with some grated Asiago cheese, and this one comes all the way from Denmark, Wisconsin. And we're going to add some parmagiano reggiano too, because the more, the merrier. Mix all of that together so we get cheese running through the entire dish. This is why it's cheesy zucchini tomato bake, and not just zucchini, with cheese on top. You're gonna love it. I love it. It's delicious. With that being said, we're still gonna put cheese on top. Cover the whole thing with some shredded mozzarella and another pinch of Italian seasoning. Then boom, right in the oven she goes, till the cheese becomes golden brown and starts getting crispy on the edges. This is also a good time to wipe down our mess on the stove top as well. Once the edges are bubbly and the cheese is browned, it's time to pull it from the oven and start cooling off. Now, it just doesn't quite feel finished until there's a pop of color on top, so it's going to get a dusting of some bright green parsley flakes right over the top, and I'm going to go get my plate ready because I'm starting to get hungry. What am I talking about? I'm always hungry. You can eat this as is, but it'd also be really good over the top of some buttered and salted noodles. I like it with some cottage cheese on the side. Some black pepper, zucchini relish to make it a double zucchini dish. And if you've never had the chance to try it, zucchini relish, hands down, one of the top relishes you'll ever get a chance to try. And if you've made it this far, enjoy some food chomping ASMR. And if you like simple, easy to make zucchini dishes, give us a like and a follow, and hopefully we'll get better at editing these videos. Leave a comment below if there's something else you'd like to see us make.